God, that opening rules. It's Mega Man 2, baby, and well, this is one title that probably doesn't need the introduction, because this is the most iconic and famous Mega Man title outside of Mega Man X. The first game may have been the actual origin point, but this is the one that caught everyone's attention. And knowing about its incredible legacy makes it all the more funny that this title almost never existed. Akira Kitamura and his team knew they had a winner with the Blue Bomber. But Capcom, they made prior engagements. You see, when a big corporation like Disney is giving you their money, you gotta deliver on Mickey Mousecapade. They basically said, no, sorry boys, we just got a nice partnership with Lucasfilm, and you guys are gonna be making Willow. But the Mega Man crew were insistent. Deep in their hearts, they knew they had just made something really, really fun, and they had to strike while the iron's still hot. They can improve on it, use the lessons they learned to make it even better. Akira Kitamura even said on Twitter that the original game's sales were not that great, and it was likely to be a one and done. This could have been the end of the Mega Man story had they not been so passionate about it. So the higher-ups at Capcom, seeing this drive to make another one, acquiesced and finally said, okay, fine, you have 3 months. If you think you can make this game in 3 months alongside Willow, then by all means, we'll let you do it. The game got the green light and the team got hard at work. Just out of curiosity, I decided to play Willow myself to see if there was any overlap. Man, talk about a chicken or the egg scenario. Which came first, the Mega Man building or the Willow Castle? Either way, for all the reputation Mega Man 3 has for being a rushed game, Mega Man 2 wasn't really any different. And yet, despite that intense pressure, the team still aimed to make the sequel a far bigger and better game than the first. I mean, that's evident right off the bat just by the game having an introduction cutscene. The original game just starts as a title screen. No music, no animation, they even took away the sprite in the English version. But with Mega Man 2, we actually get a text explanation of the plot, which is basically that Dr. Wily has returned since his last defeat to once again try and conquer the world. How is he allowed to do that? Did nobody arrest him after the last battle? Did he escape? Did he bribe the guards? Why is this man free? Regardless, now that he knows that Mega Man is a threat, he's designed 8 of his own robot masters to take him down. And the Blue Bomber is more than willing to accept the challenge to once again stop Dr. Wily. And, yeah, that's the plot. Despite being the most iconic game, Mega Man 2 probably has the simplest story. Although I should mention that the Japanese version of this game actually has a subtitle. Rockman 2, The Mystery of Dr. Wily. A mystery, you say? Gee, I wonder what wild secret the doctor is hiding from us. I bet it's gonna be stupid! The other difference the Japanese version has to the English one is that our version has a difficulty select. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, because as you know, Mega Man 1 was pretty challenging. And while the sequel is certainly easier than the first, maybe it would help sell in the West if there was a little leeway. If you want the original Japanese challenge, you choose difficult. Otherwise, normal mode changes the power of your weapon so that you do double damage to all of the bosses. It also prevents certain enemies from having a second phase. This one stack of barrels known as Blocky takes 2 hits to destroy. On the first hit, it spreads all over trying to damage you, and then you shoot him again to finish the job. On normal, you only shoot once and it dies instantly. Another enemy, Tanishi, loses its shell on the first attack, turning into something of a floor trap that Mega Man has to jump over. On normal, you shoot it once and that's all she wrote. Otherwise, this mode is easier, but it's not easy per se. It leaves all of the levels completely the same, making you deal with some of its more frustrating mechanics, from insta-kill spikes to reappearing blocks to Quickman's lasers to the limitations of the bosses. Those are all still going to be there regardless. But don't get used to having difficulty options, because this is the only game that does this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no easy mode whatsoever. Hell, this is one of the few examples of a game getting easier overseas. If this game was published by Konami, the original Japanese game would be a cakewalk compared to whatever bullshit they cooked up for the West. Jesus Christ, Castlevania 3, get off my dick already. But I digress. Damn, that menu is sexy. I'm sorry, but what an upgrade from the stage selection screen of the first. Instead of just putting the sprites of the bosses in front of yellow squares, they decided to give each master their own 8-bit portrait. And combined with that banger theme song, I mean, this screen is just iconic. We've also upped the number of bosses from 6 to 8, and this will be the series standard going forward. Not just for Classic, but X, Zero, ZX. This is what the Mega Man franchise will always be. 8 stages, 8 bosses, 8 power-ups to collect. In Mega Man 2, we're going up against Bubble Man, Quick Man, Flash Man, Metal Man, Wood Man, Air Man, Heat Man, and Crash Man. Though in the Japanese version, he goes by Clash Man. And this is also the first game to call Mega Man's creator Dr. Light. So Clash becomes Crash, Right becomes Light. We're switching up all the R's and L's. Now, the original game's bosses were all designed in-house by Capcom. This motley crew, however, have a much more interesting story.
Character Bushu.
This was an illustration used in a poster which said, "We are waiting for everyone's ideas for new enemies."
There was a contest in Nintendo Power where kids could create robot monsters for the game.
Since the first game was a modest success, Akira Kitamura came up with an idea to hold a boss design contest. This would be a call out to Mega Man fans in Famitsu magazine that would ask them to design the next Cut Man, the next Guts Man. Give Dr. Wily the robots he needs to defeat Mega Man. A little weird that we're rooting for the bad guy, but still, it was a cool idea. Not only did it inspire a whole bunch of creative designs, it got word of mouth going on. All the kids at school would be talking about Mega Man, waiting with bated breath to see if their robot made it into the next game. That's really cool. It's a level of fan interactivity you don't see too often, and it would become another series standard as the boss design contest would return for every single game up to Mega Man 8. Although, you can't convince me that games like 9 and 10 didn't also use the same source. Nintendo Power, issue number 44. You're gonna tell me that Blade Man by Legariat Tunis from Chicago, Illinois wasn't the Blade Man that we got. They'll say coincidence. I'll say shenanigans. But again, one of the cool things of the new game, Dual Override, is that they brought the design contest back. While they designed 7 of the Robot Masters themselves, the 8th one was left up to the fans. I'm personally hoping that they pick Recycle Man. But yeah, it's a super cool aspect of the Mega Man franchise, and I just like the fact that all those kids who put in submissions were then credited in the game itself. Their names immortalized for the rest of time. And the actual designs themselves, touched up by Keiji Inafune, are just precious. I love Bubble Man in his scuba suit, Heat Man being an actual Zippo lighter. There's just something so pure and perfect about their designs. Anywho, Mega Man 2 is not all that different from the original. Mega Man feels the same. He jumps, he shoots, he goes through a variety of unique levels, defeats the Robot Masters, gets their powers, and eventually conquers Wily's castle. But everything about the experience has been enhanced and improved in some way. Most of all, the presentation. I mean, I already thought the original game looked incredible, especially considering the year it came out and what its contemporaries looked like. I don't know what the developers figured out in between the two games, but they just go for the absolute complete spectacle. There are much bigger enemies this time around. Giant lanternfish, blue jackals that breathe fire, horned platform heads that shoot out even smaller heads. And then you get to Wily's castle, and the Mecha Dragon might be the coolest looking enemy in any Nintendo game. Period. The backgrounds are even more detailed. The Techno Fortress of Quickman, the trees in the Forest of Woodman. I love how all of the crystal platforms in Flashman stage are shining and shimmering. The clouds aren't just sitting there, they're bobbing and swaying with the wind. You go underwater and there are jet streams blowing downwards. Mega Man himself is breathing bubbles that rise to the top. Look how busy Metal Man stage is with all of the rotating cogs and moving pistons. This is crazy! Everything has so much personality. The fact that every boss door has a Dr. Wily logo going into it. They didn't do that in the first game, and it was such a good idea. Like, did the boss room need all of these monitors to be animated? No, they could have been static and just remained as they were, but they went above and beyond. Even the damn password screen looks really cool as the windows move seamlessly across the background like it's no big deal. But it really is. This genuinely might be the best looking NES game that's ever been made. And if you think the graphics are really good, get ready for the fucking soundtrack. This time around, Mega Man 2 was composed by Takashi Tataishi, who really only worked on one arcade game before this point. But you'd never know that listening to this incredible music.
It's not a rock like a stone or a pebble. That was not where the name Rockman comes from. It comes from rock and roll. For me, Rockman, or Mega Man, has always been a game that's been designed with music in mind. Music's always been a very important part of the series.
I mean, I don't even really know how else to describe this soundtrack other than iconic. It showed a level of complexity and emotion that you didn't know the NES was capable of. Practically every single song in this game is perfect. Absolutely perfect. I think what's most admirable about Mega Man 2 is that it didn't rest on its laurels and just reuse the exact same obstacles that the first game did. With the exceptions of Mets and Sniper Joes, every single enemy is a new foe that we've never seen before. And there's a lot of fun ones, from circus performers who ride cogwheels to birds who lay eggs that hatch a dozen tiny chicks. The fold-out rail platforms of Gutsman stage? They're completely gone. The floating drones with minds of their own? Completely replaced with scripted ones that will never surprise you. In Mega Man 1, you entered a body of water in Iceman stage, but it didn't really change anything and may as well not have been there. In Mega Man 2, Bubble Man stage is almost entirely underwater, and it changes how the Blue Bomber functions by giving him a bigger jump. It doesn't slow you down, it just makes him far more buoyant and reach for the sky. It teaches you that letting go of the jump button is essential because Mega Man can still bump his head on the spikes, which kill him in one hit. At least this time around, your iframes will protect you from instantly dying. Speaking of, scattered across all of the stages are new items that will keep Mega Man in the battle for just a little bit longer. Energy tanks. Instead of refilling your health instantly with the yellow pickups, this one is saved for a special occasion. Whenever you're getting your ass kicked in a boss fight and you're likely going to die, you can pause the game to use this object and completely refill your entire health bar. Yeah, you have a safety net! For every person who thought the Yellow Devil was just unbearably difficult to get through on one health bar, your prayers have been answered. Now, while health and weapon energy can be dropped by enemies you defeat, energy tanks are instead a finite resource. Yeah, you can find them lying around in a stage, but once you clear a level, you're not allowed to return. You can't farm E-tanks in Metal Man stage over and over again. Nor would you be encouraged to, since you can only collect 4 at a time. But that being said, Mega Man 2 does have one fatal flaw with this mechanic that every single sequel does not have. If you lose all of your lives and get a game over, you lose all of your energy tanks. So, if you're expecting to hoard all of these objects and save them for Wily's castle, for the belly of the beast, well, I've got bad news for you. Bottomless pits, spikes, the lasers in Quickman stage, there's a lot of things that can kill you in one hit. And if it all adds up, those objects go bye-bye. But that being said, another new addition to the franchise is the inclusion of a password system. With the original game, you had to beat the whole thing in one sitting because it didn't allow you to save or continue where you left off. Mega Man 2 fixes this problem completely by generating a password after every stage clear. And the great thing about it, not only does it remember which robot masters you've defeated, it also remembers how many energy tanks you've collected. Yeah, they actually carry over with the passwords, which is pretty considerate and really awesome. The Robot Masters are once again the major challenge of every single stage, and this game does a much better job both in terms of their strategy as well as game balance. Like in Mega Man 1, guys like Elecman and Iceman were just so brutal. That they can kill you in 3 hits feels especially mean. But in Mega Man 2, none of the bosses hit quite that hard, and they all feel completely different in how you handle them. Heat Man will always build up energy and lunge at you whenever you damage him. Crash Man always jumps whenever you shoot your Mega Buster, so you can completely manipulate how he moves around by holding your fire. Metal Man will always keep a distance by being on the opposite side of the room from you, turning his fight into a long-range struggle. There's just so many idiosyncrasies, so many quirks about these battles that make you feel like a god when you recognize the patterns. But again, you're not expected to just fight them all with the Mega Buster, because they all have powers for Mega Man to use. Air Shooter is a nice upward projectile that does a ton of damage. Leaf Shield can surround Mega Man and protect him from a lot of the weaker foes. You can even cast it off and throw it at enemies. The Quick Boomerang has so much ammo and shaves off health much faster than the Mega Buster. The Crash Bomber is a much better version of Bomb Man's Hyper Bomb because it actually has contact damage and shoots in a straight line. It can also be used to destroy certain barriers, which may or may not be blocking an energy tank. The only problem with it? Once it's clinged onto something, you can't pause the game in order to switch out a power. You're stuck with it until it explodes. There's the Atomic Fire, which doesn't seem very powerful at first, but what the game doesn't tell you is that it can be charged up. By holding the fire button, you'll build up energy, listening for the intensity of the sound effects to judge how powerful it is. You let go, and it's one of the most powerful attacks in the game. It's just a shame that it uses so much energy to be a constant use. But still, A charge shot, huh? That's a novel idea. Wink.
Not a charge shot!
But of course, everyone who's played this game knows what the real OP weapon is. And it's the reason most people like to take on Metal Man first. Not only because his stage starts with a free E-tank that makes the boss fight a cakewalk, but also because players get access to the Metal Blade, where Mega Man can shoot a powerful buzzsaw in every single direction. Upwards, diagonally, whatever's below you, and it can be fired off in rapid succession. How much ammo does it use? 112 shots! This thing is so powerful and it never runs out with all the weapon energy you're picking up along the way. I know players who suck at Mega Man games that completely rely on this weapon to feel like a god, especially since it's so effective against the bosses. Mega Man 2 has a very peculiar weakness chart to every other game in the series. Mega Man 1 has a very straightforward 1 to 2 to 3 linear progression. The sequels in this franchise do as well. But Mega Man 2 allows for multiple possibilities. Like, what's Bubble Man weak to? You guessed it, it's the Metal Blade. Cool, that's straightforward, we figured it out. What's Flash Man weak to? The Metal Blade. No, really, I've checked the numbers, the Legacy Collection agrees with me, there are 2 Robot Masters weak to the same weapon. Well, actually, when you get to the boss rush and battle Metal Man, his own power can defeat himself in 1 or 2 shots. It's kinda ridiculous. Take Woodman, for example. He's a tree guy, so you'd assume that the atomic fire would take him out, and yes, that is his weakness. But he's shooting a whole bunch of leaves, right? Well, what tosses those things around but the wind? I used the air shooter, and it actually does over 4 lines of damage, a total of 8 since the ability can hit twice with 1 shot. That's interesting. And then there's Quickman, who seems to have 2 official weaknesses, both of which they expect players to collect. The first is Time Stopper, which is Flashman's ability. Time Stopper can freeze the action for a short period of time. That sounds cool, but in reality, the second you approach an enemy who's too big to jump over, the party's over, because you can't fire your Mega Buster while Time Stopper is active. And the ability drains so quickly, you have to refill the entire bar with weapon energy just to get the chance to use it again. It really only has 2 uses. It's good for draining Quickman's health and for taking on his stage. Because this place has a whole bunch of insta-kill lasers that you have to outrun, which unfortunately require precise movement to navigate. You make one wrong step, you forget to jump, and you're going bye-bye. However, with the Time Stopper, you can freeze the lasers and get by quite nicely. Anyway, yeah, you can drain Quickman's health with this ability, but only halfway. And then you're expected to use Crash Bomber, which isn't really useful against any other boss. So these 2 weapons serve as a tag team mechanic for one specific Robot Master. Very unique. Again, it's not all like this. Bubble Man definitely trumps Heat Man, air over Crash, quick over metal, wood over air. But you never get this kind of versatility ever again. And maybe that's the reason so many people love Mega Man 2 so much. Also worth mentioning that this game does have a magnet beam equivalent as well, and it comes in the form of the 3 items. All of these tools can be used to reach areas Mega Man otherwise couldn't. Item 1 creates propeller platforms that disappear after a while. Item 2 is a jet that flies straight ahead until the energy runs out. And Item 3 is a wall crawler that slowly scales small structures. Unlike the magnet beam, these are all completely unmissable as they are tied to 3 of the Robot Masters. When you beat either Heat Man, Airman, or Flashman, Dr. Light will inform you that he's created the gadget and now you can use it. And thank God for that, because I think Heat Man stage has the most obnoxious reappearing block puzzle in the whole entire series. It just keeps going, and even at the very end, they still fake you out with a block above your head. Oh, you didn't know that was coming? Well, now you can enjoy the bottomless pit, fuckhead. Ugh. I've probably only beaten this thing legit like 3 times my whole entire life. Beat Airman first, get item 2, and you could just skip that entire section. But yeah, that's the main game. When you defeat the 8 Robot Masters, you get to hear a very familiar sound. Well, there it is, Wily 1, the most popular piece of Mega Man music that's ever existed. And this castle in particular is very iconic as it finds itself returning all the damn time. I'm not really sure why Dr. Wily has a fascination with skulls, but this would be the first example of it. Anyway, this is the part of the video where I turn heel because, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm gonna be quite honest, I don't really like the Wily Castle. At least, I specifically dislike 2 of its stages in particular. Oh, I know it's iconic. You've all played this game a million times and the music will never leave your head. But in my opinion, it's not a matter of difficulty that frustrates me, it's the inconveniences and actual health hazards that take it down a notch. Let's start with Wily 1. This level requires Mega Man to use all of the items to reach the top. You have to get over this bunker, scale the wall, reach the faraway ladder. It uses up a good chunk of item energy. But then you reach the top and then, oh shit! Well, that auto-scrolling dragon just caught me off guard, but whoa, wait a minute. Why am I starting halfway down the building? Why wouldn't the checkpoint start at the boss tour like every other Robot Master? Like all of the castle bosses in Mega Man 1. So now I have to reclimb the building and waste even more of the item energy just to get back up. But then I survive the auto-scroller and the fight with the Mecha Dragon begins proper. And well, the footage you're looking at is a little different because I decided to download a very specific ROM hack for an emulator. Why? When the Mega Man Legacy Collection boots up, it warns the players that the game might have flashing imagery that can potentially give you seizures. And this is mostly talking about Mega Man 2. Every time you shoot the Mecha Dragon, the screen flashes completely white. Not just when it dies, but when you shoot it. And if you're trying to speed the fight up and end it as quickly as possible, the game just turns into Seizure City. It would be one thing if this was the only boss, but unfortunately, it's the entire castle. This happens with the tank, with the Wily machine, and again with the final boss. And I don't know why this is a thing when Mega Man 1 didn't do this at all, and neither does 3 or 4 or any of the sequels outside of this one entry. And what sucks is that this is the popular one. This is the iconic Mega Man 2, the game everyone suggests that you play first, and it's the only one that's a threat to epileptic people. Ugh. But anywho, the fight itself is suspended over a bottomless pit, and Mega Man does take knockback damage. So, if you fall off the platform, you gotta climb back up the tower. But oh wait, I've wasted all the item energy and now I need to farm to get it back. That wouldn't be a problem if the enemies were, say, the bird who lays eggs, because there are so many item drops there. But no, instead, it's with the Sniper Joes, armored enemies who take a lot of shots to kill, where I have to slowly climb up and down a ladder every single time. The absolute worst place to farm. I could kill myself to get all the weapon energy back, but then I lose all of the E-tanks I spent the whole game getting. Write those passwords down, you're gonna need them. Although, you can still get energy tanks inside the castle itself. I mean, they're only hiding behind those crash bomb barriers. I got the ammo, I might as well. Enter Wily 4. The boss of this stage is the, well, let me look it up. The Boo Beam Trap? Boo Beam Trap? Like a booby trap? Oh my god, that's a titty! This whole entire time I've been battling a pair of robot titties! Anyway, this boss sucks. This is the first example of a boss being weak to only one specific weapon, and that is the Crash Bomber. Whereas Metal Blade has over 100 shots, Crash Bomber only has 7. 7! And this boss is a whole bunch of robot titties hiding behind other walls that you need to blow up, meaning that every shot counts. And the way the castles work is that you don't recover weapon energy going from stage to stage. If I blow up a wall in Wily 3 and I didn't refill that weapon along the way, then I have just entered a fail state. Because the Mega Buster does nothing. The air shooter does nothing. Without ammo, I can't beat the boss. So you die, and then the checkpoint takes you far, far back to all of those moving platforms over spikes where I can't possibly farm weapon energy. Only to go down to the obnoxious Sniper Joe hallway where their mechs can drop ammo, but then I have to take contact damage to grab it before it disappears. And oh my god, why couldn't these enemies be quick and easy to kill? It's a puzzle, Clement. Yeah, it sure is a puzzle, one that severely punishes the player with obnoxious busy work for making a single mistake. I mean, look, I've beaten Mega Man 2 dozens of times. Of course I'm used to the Boo Beam Trap and the Mecha Dragon and everything else it has to offer. But I'm sorry, even if I can beat it, that doesn't make it a well-designed, enjoyable castle. Even the levels I don't have a problem with are just so short and simple that I don't think they leave a lasting impression. Other than the boss of Wily 3. Why did he turn Gutsman into a gigantic tank? Actually, now that I think about it, why did he have all those Gutsman statues in the final level of the first game? Why is Dr. Wily so fascinated with Gutsman? He didn't even make the guy! Either way, the other thing the castle does more often is sprite flickering. Mega Man 2 is a beautiful game, but in order to achieve that beauty, the NES has to struggle a little bit. And Mega Man will fade in and out, his face will disappear, the health bars will disappear. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it definitely detracts from the experience. Like, I'm sorry, but I just find the back end of this game to be its weakest part. When I compare it to the final areas of every other game, I find it quite lacking. But hey, at least it's not King's Castle. Oh, I'll be getting to you soon, you bronze motherfucker. But on the positive side, this is the first time that Mega Man has a proper 8-man boss rush. And while the 4-man gauntlet of the first game was easily the hardest part of that title, what makes this much more manageable is the fact that every boss drops a gigantic health pellet after you defeat one. So you're constantly refilling your health, which makes a world of difference. The boss rush is another established staple of the series, returning for every single game. Some people moan about having to do it every single playthrough, but it's never really bothered me. With enemy weaknesses, the fights go by super quickly, showing just how easy these battles actually are when you use the proper strategies. I couldn't imagine Mega Man without them, and I don't care to try. But at long last, we've made it to the final boss. We've made it to Dr. Wily and his really obnoxious bouncing energy balls. How the hell are you supposed to dodge these things? He's actually weak to the Crash Bomb, but I already used all of that for Wily 4, and I couldn't refill it because there was no weapon energy in between the levels. So I'm just gonna have to fight him with the Mega Buster and some E-Tanks. It goes by pretty quickly, and then he retreats to a dark cave that is, pouring blood. What the hell? Why is blood leaking from the ceiling? What the hell has Dr. Wily lured me into? Are you ready, folks? Are you ready for the mystery of Dr. Wily? Oh my god! Dr. Wily was an alien this whole entire time! What a twist! And Dr. Wily has become all-powerful, shaving off the damage that the Mega Buster is normally supposed to deliver. Oh god, what do I do? Well, I know. Just spray water on him. Use bubble lead from Bubble Man. That'll do the trick. And yes, the water short-circuits the illusion, the hologram, the absolute fake bullshit that's going on in front of us right now. okay, I'm not really from outer space. I was just trying to trick you. Please forgive me. I don't know if Mega Man arrests Dr. Wily, but we do get a contemplative, very melancholy ending afterwards, with Mega Man walking the Earth as the seasons pass. And then after everything is all said and done, he hangs up his helmet and retires into that good night, because everlasting peace has been achieved and Mega Man is no longer necessary. Rest up, hero. You saved the world yet again. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Mega Man 2. And while I certainly have misgivings about the castle, that doesn't detract from the overall experience that this game has to offer. This is an incredible game, not just in visuals, not just in soundtrack, but also in the gameplay. The bosses are really fun to fight, the powers are so awesome, the stages are really great to go through. It is considered by many to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Nintendo game of all time. And the fact that it was made in under 3 months is actually incredible. How the hell did they pull this off?
If I were to have to throw out one single Mega Man title that I really liked, I guess it would be Mega Man 2. It was probably the one game where I really felt that I had put in 100% of everything that I was aiming for. Out of all the games I've made, one of the best ones.
So how did Mega Man 2 do? Was this a popular game? Did this do pretty well? It's only the most successful, the most popular Mega Man game that's ever existed. This game sold over 1 million units and completely took the corporate Capcom executives completely off guard. They did not expect that this game was going to be the massive mega hit that it ended up being. It wasn't just a success in Japan, it was a success in the West as well, and I think there's a lot of reasons why that is. For one thing, video game print media was really starting to blossom at this point. Nintendo Power came out in 1988, just after Mega Man 1. And what did we see with issue number 7? A front page mock-up for Mega Man 2. The very first issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly, the very first one. They were featuring Mega Man 2. And then there was a certain cartoon show called Captain N, the Game Master, which came out the same year as Mega Man 2 in the West. The show was about a teenager who gets sucked into the world of Nintendo games that he loves playing oh so much. So he ends up meeting Simon Belmont and Kid Icarus, and one of the major characters of this show, who was featured in multiple episodes, was Mega Man.
Mega Man, you fought bravely and well.
A pleasure to serve you, your worship. Megaland? That's my home. We've got to warp there mega fast. This'll mega cheer Captain N up. Wow, dude, skaters rule.
I mean, okay, he's not really accurate. Why does Mega Man sound like a chain smoker? Why does he add mega into every single sentence? Why does he look and behave this way? It is so bizarre. But you know, when you're a big Nintendo fan, this is like the most exciting thing. You want to watch a cartoon about Nintendo games, and when all the kids are learning about this Mega Man character, and then they go to the video store to see what this Mega Man game is all about, of course that's going to boost the popularity of the franchise. Some people knew about Mega Man 1. Everybody knew about Mega Man 2. Like, it cannot be overstated that back then, people didn't really think of Mega Man as a Capcom character, they just thought of him as a Nintendo character. Like, there was a French commercial where Mario himself is introducing the character.
Voix Metalman à la casse! Docteur Wily, est-ce que ça bouleverse vos plans de conquête de l'univers?
Ah non! Vous oubliez mes super robots, mes poules atomiques et toutes mes autres créatures!
Docteur Wily, merci, mais le mot de la fin sera pour Megaman 2! Nintendo!
Damn, the European Mega Man fucking rules! You gotta love that silver getup. So as you can imagine, this really raised Capcom's stock, because you gotta remember, this is pre-Street Fighter 2. This is pre-Resident Evil, pre-Monster Hunter. Capcom is not a well-known company. They're not an established force yet. but now they have the pedigree. Now maybe they're going to get a little more contracts from Disney since they've shown to be such a competent developer. All of a sudden, Mega Man was the de facto mascot of Capcom right then and there. What a success story for the Mega Man team. They knew they had something great, and they finally got to prove it. Mega Man is a mega hit. Now let's see what they do with it. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. I wanted to have Mega Man 3 out this month, but I'm going to save it and Mega Man 4 for June because I'm going away for 3 weeks. I'm actually going to Atlanta, Georgia to visit MomoCon with my wife. Not as a panel guest, just as someone who's attending the event, meeting up with my friends. And if you see me there, feel free to say hi. I'll be happy to take pictures, do whatever. I don't bite unless you want me to. Until next time, folks, toodles.